Alright, we're underneath a 1997 Toyota Tacoma doing the clutch because it's about worn out, and got our 14mm nut and bolt here, and this is gonna disconnect it from here. 4 bolts there, and we actually have a 2-piece axle, so also have 14mm bolts, 2 of them, holding that up, and then it just slides out of the transmission. And you might want to put a container down to catch the drip, and it will probably be draining the fluid too. I think it's like a 15/16 or maybe a 1-inch socket that'll fit on there, or a wrench. And we just go up here and we can unplug this and disconnect it. Either take this off or take this bracket off. And we have 2 12mm bolts up here holding the clutch slave cylinder, and we have several 14mm bolts around here, and probably 17mm. We got some lubricant on that holding that. Disconnect the oxygen sensor right here, the plug, and there's a bolt there as well. And we'll be back in a little bit. We got the speedometer to disconnect cable. This one has a speedometer cable. We can disconnect it right here with a wrench. It's a 7/8 wrench. I was actually able to break it apart with my hand, but showing you what wrench to use. It's notched. There, I don't know if you can see it on the video. We have the rear oxygen sensor wiring. We'll get that out of the harness here. And there's a clip up here. There's a little tab. If you stick a screwdriver in the little tab and pull it out, this should slide up. I don't have a screwdriver handy, but there we go with my finger, maybe. There it is. Off right there. Got this disconnected with a 10mm bolt here. We got 12mm bolts, 14mm bolts on this engine or transmission mount assembly here. Now I took out this bolt up here, 14mm bolts, one of the 2 starter bolts, and I noticed that my starter is pretty well exposed right there, so I'm going to go ahead and disconnect the battery so I don't have any arcing and sparking issues. Suggest you may do the same. So I've moved that bracket up a little bit. I've given myself the space. Get the bolts out. One 12mm bolt. And I'll just get the other one out, and then we'll have the slave off of there. And there's a 10mm bolt up there, or you can remove the harness from the bracket as well. Again, either way. Alright, I got this 12mm bolt loosened up. I will say, if you're in a rusty climate, it might be a good idea to spray almost every bolt you can get to, like the day or a couple days before you do the job, if possible, and just let everything soak. It could possibly make your job a lot easier. So that's just a little tip. So I got this loose, and I'll take these 2 bolts out here. Got my 17mm socket on there, so we'll be breaking loose. And we can get that out of the way. There we go, we got it out of the way so we can get our transmission out. And we're just going to keep going with some bolts. There's a 14mm on this side and over here. I'm sure there's a couple up on the top too as well. And we'll get back to here and do this. No, I'm good. No light needed. Then we'll probably go back with the transmission and tip the front end down and get the transmission out of here, most likely. So we got our 14 millimeter socket on our air ratchet. We're taking all the 14 millimeter bolts out. The transmission kind of hangs on its own. I was able to hold it up with my arm really as I disconnected this. Not a huge deal, not going very far. Alright, I'll give us some little space. We'll just be getting 2 or 3 bolts up on top and we can slide it on back. You probably need a jack to support the transmission as you slide it back. Or I guess you can just pull it back and let it fall on your chest. I don't recommend that though. Okay, we got the bolts out there. Also 3 17 millimeter bolts. So one here just below the starter. Then there's 2 on the top. You can probably use a long extensions like these to get to the bolts on the top. Make it easier for you. Now we've rotated this, as you can see. This rotated to the driver's side to be able to get this out. This is welded in place. We can't get it out, so we're going to twist it, and then we should have enough clearance in here to drop it this way through the front. That back end will go up, but we got to twist it because otherwise this is hitting the top up there. So we're twisting it to the driver's side. In theory anyway. You can probably take this off here too. End up not doing it. That might make it easier for you. But it's out. 13mm bolts. Take that off. Alright, they're actually 12mm bolts. I should have known that. We'll loosen them up evenly, like when you put a spare tire, or when you put a tire on. We'll just keep doing that and hang on to it, because it's going to fall off, and the clutch disc is inside too. Right in there is the clutch disc.
It's always good with the one piece. That's a lot better than those two-piece transmissions.
And there's a dowel pin holding it on. Just use a screwdriver, pry bar. Pry it off. We have our clutch disc and our pressure plate, and you can see there's maybe some signs of some hot spots on here. We'll be getting a new one in the kit, and then it's basically worn down to the rivets, so that's how we can tell it's worn out. Then we do want to remove the 14mm bolts here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 bolts for this thing. It's ridiculous, but get that off and have it machined or replace it. So it's a really good idea to replace the it's a good idea to replace the pilot bushing or bearing here in the back of the engine when you're doing a transmission. Often you'll find them damaged in some form or fashion, not always, but and some of them might even not have a seal, but this is sealed. Otherwise you can maybe cheat a little bit and grease it up, but it's not. And you can see I've got a special tool here for pulling it out. They can be tricky. There are several different special tools for pulling it out, but something to consider before doing the job.